¿Qué tal, chicos? I'm back now from doing a 2-week Spanish immersion course in Barcelona. Now, if that's something you're considering, it's something I'll definitely recommend because you learn so much, not only about the Spanish language, but also about the history, the culture, and so much more. Now, mastering the verb ser for beginners. This is something that's really important because here's some of the most common questions you'll normally get when you first meet someone in Spanish. ¿De dónde eres? Where are you from? ¿En qué trabajas? What do you do for work? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? What is your name? ¿Qué hora es? What's the time? So you'll need the verb ser to answer these questions, but also to express so much more in Spanish. So today what we're going to do is go through how and when to use the verb ser, but more importantly, we'll also go through some examples, and at the end I've got some exercises for you as well, so you fully understand how to use the verb ser. Now let's get into it. So first up, when to use the verb ser. So this can be a difficult question sometimes because the verb ESTAR, which we went through in a previous video, also means to be in English. So we use the verb ser when we're looking at these particular things. So when we're talking about our profession or our career, also when we're talking about where we are from as well, we use the verb ser. So think of permanent characteristics. So permanent characteristics about a person, for example, if someone's tall, or if someone is short, or if someone is shy in general, or if someone's confident or well-spoken. Okay, those are examples of when we'd use the verb ser. So permanent characteristics about a person's physical traits, but also their personality as well. Now, one thing you'll notice in this list here that really confused me when I started learning Spanish was talking about the time, the date, or even the day that it is in this particular day. So that really confused me because I used to think time is never permanent, so time is always continuing. So I used to think we'd use the verb estar when we're talking about the time, date, or the specific day. But in Spanish, we'd always use the verb ser when we're talking about these specific things. So as you can see, the verb ser does have a lot of different uses in Spanish, so it's a really important one. Next up, how to use the verb ser. So as you'll see in a few moments when we go through the conjugations, you'll see that the verb ser is completely irregular. But the good news is, because the verb ser is used so frequently in the conversation, especially when you first start learning, the good news is you will actually internalize and actually get a grip on what the conjugations are quite quickly because you use them, as I said, all the time. Now, when it comes to learning verbs, I normally recommend just learning the yo and the tu form of the verbs first because they're the most useful in a conversation. But when it comes to the verb ser, I personally found the el, ella, or usted form quite useful in a conversation when I first started learning as well. So I'd also recommend getting comfortable with that one as well. The conjugations, here they are here for you. So I will put these in the description box for you below as well if you need them. But we'll start off with the yo form. So we've got yo soy. So soy. So soy Hawani. I am Hawani, por ejemplo. The tu form, we've got tú eres. So eres is the tu form. The el, ella, o usted form is es. So el, ella, o usted es. We've also got the nosotros form, so nosotros somos, nosotros somos, so we are. The vosotros form, if you are in Spain, vosotros sois, so vosotros sois. And finally, we've got the ellos or ustedes form, which is son. Cool, so let's go through some quick examples. So as I said before, soy Hawani, so soy Hawani, I am Hawani. So remember, we use the verb ser whenever we're talking about permanent traits or characteristics about a person, which includes who they are. Another example, I am from the United States. Soy de los Estados Unidos. So soy de los Estados Unidos. So remember, we always use ser whenever we're talking about where we are from. Another one, you are very tall. Eres muy alto. So eres muy alto. So again, permanent characteristic about a person. So again, would use the verb ser. Let's go one more. What day is it today? ¿Qué día es hoy? So ¿qué día es hoy? So again, we use the verb ser whenever we're talking about the time, the date, or the specific day it is today. And you can see there from that example, we're using the el, ella, or usted form of the verb ser. Good job so far, guys. Now to finish off with, I've got some exercises for you where you're going to have to translate these phrases for me and figure out whether you need to use the verb ser or whether you need to use the verb estar. El número uno, I am Juan. Would you say soy Juan, or would you say estoy Juan? Cool, nice and easy to start with. So the answer is soy Juan. Why? Because we're talking about who we are, where we always use the verb ser. El número dos, I am from Spain. Would you say soy de España, or would you say estoy de España? Again, not too difficult. Soy de España. Why? Because we always use the verb ser when we talk about where we are from. Next one, I am tired. Would you say soy cansado, or would you say estoy cansado? Cool, this time we'd use the verb estar, so to be estoy cansado. Because as we went through in the previous video, and I'll leave a link in the description box for you below as well for that one if you want to explore the verb estar, we always use the verb estar when we're talking about our emotions or our states or how we feel in a specific moment. Next one, let's say you're talking on the phone to your friend and you want to ask where they are. Would you say, ¿Dónde eres? ¿Dónde eres? Or would you say, ¿Dónde estás? Cool, so this one was a little bit trickier. In this situation, you would actually use the verb estar. So you'd say, ¿Dónde estás? Why is that? Because we always use the verb estar when we're asking where someone is in a specific moment. Great job, everyone. Last one. Today is Wednesday. Would you say, hoy es miércoles? Or, hoy está miércoles? Cool, so the answer is hoy es miércoles, because we always use the verb ser, as I mentioned before, when we're talking about the time, date, or day. Great job, everyone. So did you get most of those questions right? If not, don't worry, just keep practicing. And as always, if I can help with anything else, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Hasta pronto.